Prime Minister, the Most Honourable Andrew Holness, has called on Parliament to quickly pass legislation that will increase the penalty for murder. There are, before us, amendments to legislation, which will increase penalties for such criminal terrorists. I urge the House to pass these amendments forthwith before the year is out, he said. The Prime Minister was speaking in the House of Representatives on Tuesday, November the 7th, where he condemned the killing of 3 residents in Salt Spring, St. James, on Monday, November the 6th, including 2 children. They are 7-year-old Justin Perry and 9-year-old Nark Oliver Smith, both students, and Tivin Hale, otherwise called Barnsell, 26. Prime Minister Holness described the killing as barbaric, noting that Parliament should stand in condemnation of the act. It is important that each time that this happens we declare and reinforce that our nation does not stand for this, he stressed. Noting that the information coming from the police is that the incident arose from a gang feud, he said that gang members used high-powered weapons indiscriminately in a public space with what can only be assumed to be the intention to create fear and panic in the country, to create outside of the locality of the event, a national fear. In my opinion, it is the equivalent of a terrorist act, and these criminals ought to be described and treated in that form. The government has to take action, it cannot be ambivalent or equivocal in this matter, he said. The Prime Minister informed that directives have been given to the Minister of National Security and the Minister of Justice to bring the necessary amendments to the Firearms Act to ensure that there is no ambiguity or lack of clarity in the application of the penalties recommended. There would appear that further review of the bill would be necessary to align penalties and to ensure that the strongest unequivocal signals are sent to the criminal elements, particularly those who use dangerous weapons, illegal weapons such as high-powered guns indiscriminately and kill our children, that they will face the severest penalty applicable under the law, Mr. Holness said. He noted that the recently passed Bail Act is expected to have a deterrent impact on crime in the country. The Prime Minister called on residents of Salt Spring and adjoining communities, who may have information about the whereabouts of the criminals involved in Monday's incident, to pass it on to the police. He further urged the police to ensure that the swiftest justice is applied, and that the entire area is brought under control. We will give them the necessary powers and authority to carry out their duties within our Constitution, with respect for human rights and the dignity of the people of the area. I want to give the assurance to the nation that the government will do everything within its powers to bring the perpetrator to justice, Mr. Holness pledged. My heart goes out to the parents at this time and their family members and the children at the school. We cannot explain to them why this has had happened, but we must be steely in our resolve to ensure that it does not happen again. We have it within our purview, in this House, to create the deterrence, to use the laws to create the deterrence, the Prime Minister said. Leader of the Opposition, Mark Golding, also condemned the killings. Each time we rise to speak on a subject like this, one has to wonder when it will be the last time we have to do so. I join in the sentiments that have been expressed condemning, in the most profound terms, the acts of extreme violence, the depravity in which those 2 young Jamaicans lost their lives, Mr. Golding said. Minister of Education and Youth, Honourable Favour Williams, in her contribution, informed that grief counsellors have been sent to Chitwood Memorial Primary School, which both boys attended. Minister of Justice, Honourable Delroy Chuck, has called on Justices of the Peace, JPs, to lead the charge in fostering a more empathetic and gentle society in Jamaica. Mr. Chuck expressed the view that most JPs are inherently kind and loving individuals who possess the qualities needed to help combat the growing issues of incivility and aggression plaguing society. The potential of a JP association to do good is really enormous, and I have so much faith and so much focus and feel that the JPs across our country are the ones who can provide our citizens with a kind and gentle attitude towards one another, he said. Minister Chuck was speaking at a sensitization session for JPs from Portland, St. Mary, St. Anne and Trelawney, held at Sandals Resort Arco Rios in St. Anne on November the 3rd. He encouraged the JPs to collaborate through their association to devise strategies to make a positive impact and to stamp out coarseness, brutishness, and violence in the country. The minister attributed the escalating hostility and brutality to a breakdown in interpersonal relationships and a lack of empathy within communities. That is why my great hope is that the parish associations could on a regular basis meet and find out how can we assist families to behave properly towards one another. The level of domestic abuse within homes is an epidemic, Mr. Chuck said. To combat the prevailing inclination towards revenge and violence, Minister Chuck urged victims of abuse to seek counseling through victim services, rather than resorting to violence or contracting killers to settle their disputes. A lot of women and a lot of men too are suffering, and we need to be able to tell families, if there is a victim services, please go and get counseling. Don't take it out by planning revenge and contracting killers, using violence to solve the problem, he said. The Justice Minister acknowledged that while Jamaica has seen economic growth, it can achieve so much more by addressing these pressing social issues. He called on the JPs to utilize their collective imagination to determine how best they can assist their communities and neighborhoods in improving the quality of life for everyone. Jamaica is at crossroads where we can do even much better, so that we can use the successes that we have and ask how much more successes can we gain on this, the minister said. The sensitization session focused on JP's role in estate planning, signing passport documents, life certifications and the Justice Ministry's subvention for JP parish associations. The government will be investing approximately $500 million for the upgrading of police facilities in fiscal year 2024/25. This was disclosed by Minister of State in the Ministry of National Security, Honorable Juliet Cuthbert Flynn, who indicated that the ministry will be undertaking major infrastructure renovations and repair projects during the period. She added that the ministry continues to partner with other organizations to improve police structures island-wide. Recognizing the critical state of the police facilities, the ministry has forged partnerships with several organizations, including the National Housing Trust, NHT, and the Jamaica Social Investment Fund, JSIF, she outlined. Having completed the construction and renovation of 5 police facilities and 5 ongoing projects, the role of the NHT, in our collective effort to fast-track the transformation of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF, clearly demonstrates our commitment to enhancing the infrastructure that is necessary for effective law enforcement, Mrs. Cuthbert Flynn stated. She was addressing the Police Civilian Oversight Authority, PCOA, Transforming Our Police Service, TOPS, Area 1 Awards ceremony at the Montego Bay Convention Center in St. James on Wednesday, the 22nd of November. As part of the ceremony, outstanding police stations across Area 1, comprising the parishes of Trelawney, St. James, Hanover, and Westmoreland, were awarded. Mrs. Cuthbert Flynn outlined that the ceremony marked not only a celebration of excellence but also served as a testament to the dedication and commitment of law enforcement officers to fostering a safer and more secure Jamaica. While she underscored the need to highlight more positive developments regarding police officers, she pointed out that there has been a noticeable change in the JCF. I have to say that I have seen a difference in the police force. We speak about showing more of what is good about the police, and I have been seeing more of the good things, and I think we need to do more of that, the state minister said. The tireless efforts, the unwavering dedication and selfless commitment exhibited by all of you have been nothing short of extraordinary, Mrs. Cuthbert Flynn told the officers attending. Among the awardees were the Bluefields Police Station in Westmoreland, which copped the Top Police Station in Area 1 award, while the Freeport Police Station in St. James walked away with the Top Prisoners in Custody, PIC, award. During the ceremony, winners of the first ever TOPS poster competition were announced. The competition featured entries from high school students in the division.
This one is for the youths. Yeah. You know? Remember what the Bible telling me, you know? Yeah. And don't disobey. Alright. I'm not your mother and father. That your day shall be longer. Here with Johnny P. I say, yo, mama tell her son to take his gun to town. Him turn around and look at her and frowns. By the queen to for high, by a speed good drive. Boom, gunshot make him die. Me tell the youths who can't hear must feel. Longest if I tell the story real. Patience is a virtue. Never back chat when your parents talk to you. Mama tell her son to take his gun to town. Him turn around and look at her and frowns. By the queen to for high, by a speed could drive. Boom, gunshot make him die. Me tell the youth who can't hear must feel. Longest if I tell the story real. Patience is a virtue. Never back chat when your parents talk to you. At the age of 50, say him a loot and shoot. Go follow bad company, say him just get recruit. Never stop tell police, drape him up in him loop. Box him up in him face, kick him whole time boot. Take him a station, introduce him to soup. Make him go no squad, them ask him about him group. Them cast him a Steve and call him coot. So him never listen to me, him end up face the truth.